Hi guys, my name is Jessica Milner and I'm the PLC lead for chorus grades 6 through 12. And today we're going to be talking about choral conducting and some resources, exercises, methodologies you can consider while practicing in rehearsals or just to dust off your conducting chops as educators. So let's get into it. All right, so first I'm going to start up with some warm ups and exercises that can be helpful, beneficial. First, let's talk about posture, how you stand, feet shoulder width apart in front of your ensemble, your group. You don't want to have one foot in front of the other, like your right foot or your left foot, because it cuts you off from at one part or one section and it doesn't give you the most open stance. Also, don't lean forward into the ensemble or into your choir. Leave that space nice and open and have them come to you in a sense of their sound, how the sound comes to you. Posture is extremely important. Make sure you connect to your breath so you have that nice grounded feeling, deep diaphragmatic breathing, so that when you are connecting, the breath is released and it goes from your breath to your hands, and that's how we shape our sound. Keep breathing circular. I just talked about this all the way through the up and down beat. So you want to alleviate any tension as possible. Um, so rather than you want your conducting that nature. Um, Next, we're going to talk about a few exercises. I need to move this thing here. Float, glide, and press are some conducting exercises that can be used during choral warm-ups. You can sing. You can use them while singing on a single unison vowel, or unvoiced or shh. So I I like using these exercises because you can also use them during breathing exercises as well as you're warming up your choir. So the floating. When you float, you want to keep in mind the space, the openness here. You do want your baton in your hand to be at a 90-degree angle, but you don't want it to be super tight. Floating lifts. You're still here with your choir, but it's much more lifted. So as you're phrasing, it should be very open. You should be able to sense and see the phrasing, the breath. You should be breathing continuously, keeping that nice open space between your arms and your body. And floating just stays right here. Okay. Next is the glide. Glide. With gliding, you think more as if you are conducting underwater, in a sense of it's a much more lower, it's a lot smoother. It's a glide. It's very as if you're skimming water um, with your hands or your fingers. So when you're conducting it, it's a very wide, graceful glide. I hope that makes sense. And then last we have press. Press gives a little bit more intensity into the sound, as well as it helps with keeping the giving a certain, I'm gonna say intensity again, but giving this certain type of intention with your sound. So press, you just have a little bit more pressure when you're conducting. That downbeat has a little bit more weight to it than with the float and the glide. So you have a little bit more pressure on each of those. And you can kind of feel that press. Okay. How to use these with warm-ups and exercises. So breathing exercise, I guess we'll use with the shh or s. So some teachers give their students a count off, or not just a count off, but just how long can you sustain this breath, or especially for engaging our our if we're engaging our breathing, our lungs, excuse me. So what I would do is on the vowel, we can play with intensity, you can play with dynamics with this while you're conducting. If you decide to go from a float to press, you can show staccato, legato, just different articulations that can be used, that will be used in your rehearsals and in your performances. Use a mirror and sing through the concert repertoire. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna move this over here. Notice what your students are seeing versus what they hear. Okay, so this is really great, especially I would say midway through teaching and learning the repertoire of the music. Do not wait till the last night or the night before or the week before to kind of watch yourself. And because a lot of the times I know as an educator, I realize what I want to hear, I'm not giving them they're not seeing what I want to hear, if that makes sense. Use a mirror and sing through your concert repertoire. Um, and it would look like this. Just a quick example. I'm going to use, let's see. Oh, okay. I am a pilgrim on pilgrim. Okay, so something similar to that. Just sing through. You don't have to sing full out, but make sure you are showing and noticing every downbeat, every cue, as well as dynamics that you're showing. A lot of the times, we will um, lip sync the words or the text to the song, rather than showing like proper vowel shape or proper the way we want them to inhale before a phrase. And so a lot of our hands and a lot of a lot of the techniques that we use when we're conducting can could really alleviate a lot of the issues that we see in our own in our own practices. Okay, so it's gonna be 50% technical. Think of it as 50% technical or clinical and 50% metaphorical. Practice alternating between time signatures, so 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, things of that nature. Okay, and metaphorical is imaginative. So you want to feel something when they're singing. You want to be you want to give as much as emotion as they're giving you. Actually, more, to be honest, if we want to do it. Okay. And there are always ways to do this on every level, from sixth grade middle school to your upper level high school. Just start now. Start getting used to you watching yourself conduct, and also your students getting used to using different methodologies. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about a few conducting methodologies here. So arm posture and grip, it should be 90% wrist and 10%, 90% wrist and 10% arm. Excuse me. 90% wrist and 10% arm when you are conducting. So your arm posture should not, like I said, it should be 90 degrees. You don't want to conduct this way. You don't want to conduct inwards, but you want to be right here in front of the ensemble. Beating time, you don't want to be, of course, like this. Stay rooted with your shoulders down. Relax alignment. Relax the lower half and don't lock your knees or walk back and forth or conduct from side to side. Intensity is the antithesis of tension. So in order for music to flow freely, for it to sing freely, you have to be loose of all tension. The tightness in your hands, your grip, your arms, even here in your upper body, completely will change the sound of how your ensemble will sound. Breathe deeply through phrases, but don't mouth breathe. That nature. Okay. Let's see. Number 7, don't mirror your your conducting patterns. Mirroring limits expressiveness. So you don't want to do this. Reminds me of a like it's not, it's very like marching band, the mirroring. So try to limit mirroring. Cue with your eyes and look at the musicians when speaking and conducting. Like they said, the score should be in your head and not your head in the score. So make sure you're always looking up and making that eye contact with your students. Receiving is more important than giving. Let the music sing to you. Also, don't be afraid to ask your ensemble, your choir, what am I giving? What do you see? What are you receiving? What are you seeing when we get to this section? What would you like to see? What could you use more of? And last but not least, beat patterns should be second nature. So when you get to a section or a phrase in the music, that it's not shocking you when you have to conduct a mixed meter. So those are 10 of some conducting methodologies that I hope will be very helpful for you as you practice, as you continue to um, practice. Sorry, as you practice and as you continue to mold your craft as conductors for your ensembles. Thank you guys and have an amazing day. Bye.